Okay, picture this. You're sitting in a critical executive meeting, right? The stakes are high, the decisions you need to make are huge, and instead of actually making a choice, the entire room spends 30 agonizing minutes arguing over whose numbers are right. We've all been there, and let's be honest, it's the ultimate corporate Groundhog's Day. We look at a dashboard fully expecting clarity, and instead, we just get a turf war. But as this quote so perfectly captures, the solution to this deeply frustrating problem, it's not better software, it's ownership.
Welcome to this explainer. Today we're bringing some serious energy to diagnosing and ultimately curing the real root cause of bad data. We are talking about data ownership. This is capability 1 within the data domain of the TIO framework, which stands for the Intelligent Organization System. We're going to strip away all the technical jargon today and focus entirely on how clear accountability is the absolute, non-negotiable prerequisite before you build a single dashboard or launch literally any AI initiative.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our flight path for today. First, the dashboard dilemma. Second, the ultimate accountability. Third, the critical boundary line. Fourth, 3 practical outputs. And finally, putting ownership into practice. Section 1, the dashboard dilemma. Diagnosing the symptoms.
Look, these symptoms are painful, and they are incredibly common across organizations. Reports just flat out do not match across different departments. Teams waste countless hours arguing about basic definitions. Access requests just sit in an inbox completely unresolved because, well, nobody actually knows who's allowed to say yes. And perhaps most critically today, AI use cases stall out completely because nobody can stand behind the data feeding the models. The urgency here is very real. But listen, building a shiny new dashboard to fix these issues, that doesn't solve the problem. It really just gives you a high-definition view of your own confusion.
Section 2, the ultimate accountability. The cure.
I really want to let this sink in. Data needs an owner before it needs a dashboard, because without ownership, data problems just become everyone's frustration and no one's actual responsibility. It's this fundamental lack of accountability that stalls digital transformation. You could have the absolute best technology in the world, but if nobody owns the information flowing through it, you are literally building a house on quicksand.
So the crucial point is understanding exactly what this means in plain English. Data ownership is the organization's ability to assign clear accountability for important data. That includes knowing its exact meaning, its quality, who gets access to it, how it's used, and how it gets improved over time. Simply put, it answers the fundamental question, who is raising their hand and taking responsibility for this information?
Now, the golden key to remember here is that data ownership is absolutely not about creating more bureaucracy. No one wants that. It's about making accountability clear enough that people can actually trust the data they use and depend on every day. It's the mandatory first step if you want to confidently feed data into AI or automation tools. When ownership is clear, you move faster, for sure, because you eliminate the guesswork of who is responsible.
Section 3, the critical boundary line, rules versus accountability.
And this brilliantly illustrates why we need to draw a strict line here, so this cure doesn't somehow mutate into just another annoying layer of corporate red tape. There is an exact boundary where leadership's role in governance stops and where data ownership firmly takes over. Because if we don't draw that line, everyone steps on each other's toes and progress just totally grinds to a halt.
Let's explicitly contrast the two so we're all on the same page. Governance, which lives over in the leadership domain, sets the enterprise rules. It defines the decision rights and the escalation rhythms for the whole organization. Ownership, on the other hand, lives right in the data domain. It simply names exactly who is accountable for specific data. Think of it this way. Governance writes the playbook. Ownership assigns the players to their positions. Grasping this distinction is what keeps things moving smoothly.
Section 4, 3 practical outputs. The treatment plan.
Okay, remember this. Generating more documentation absolutely does not equal generating more accountability. This right here is your minimum viable capability. 3 practical outputs are enough to start. Keeping it simple is the absolute secret to actual execution. If you try to map every single data point in your entire company on day 1, you are going to fail. You just need enough structure to start establishing real working accountability.
Let's break down exactly what those 3 deliverables entail, completely free of any jargon. First is the ownership map. Its entire job is just to name the accountable owner, making it crystal clear who decides and who approves. Second, critical data definitions. This establishes the meaning, the source systems, and the calculation rules in plain English, so business leaders actually understand what they're looking at. And finally, the escalation path. This ensures that when gaps or disputes pop up, and they will,
They don't just sit unresolved forever relying on personal relationships to get fixed.
Section 5. Putting ownership into practice. Activating the cure. Let's anchor why this matters in the real world. Imagine a mid-sized field services company. They decide they want to build some cool AI-enabled dashboards. Well, they don't start with code, they start with these steps right here. Step 1, they identify priority data, stuff like invoices and service tickets. Step 2, they name business owners. Operations owns the tickets, finance owns the invoices. Step 3, they define critical terms in plain English, like what exactly counts as billable labor, what makes someone an active customer. Step 4, they escalate disputes when those definitions clash. By doing all this up front, they totally prevent a scenario where two different reports show two different profit margins, saving the dashboard from becoming a battleground.
Let's move to and see how this builds into the bigger picture. In the broader intelligent organization framework, data is the second domain, right after leadership. The operating logic for data is actually a continuous sequence. Ownership assigns the accountability. Quality proves the data is fit for use. Access enables the right people to use it safely. Flow connects it across systems. And insight informs the actual decisions. But notice, without ownership, none of the rest can happen. It is the absolute bedrock of the entire data domain.
I want to leave you with this lingering, slightly provocative thought to analyze within your own organization. Think about the most important dashboard or AI initiative you are working on right now. Who is the exact person accountable for the data powering your next critical decision? If you don't immediately know their name, you don't have a data problem, you have an accountability problem.